Well, the tippy top of the afternoon to you laddies, it's me, Iceman. And welcome back to the Minecraft Snapshot. Today at the late hour of 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time, Minecraft 26.2 Snapshot number 8 had dropped. This happened just as I was packing the bags up to leave the office, which means you almost didn't get a Snapshot video. In honor of the special guest and the big triumph today, smash that like button. Let's go for 777 likes. Subscribe to the new second channel. Found something cool. Gonna talk about it after the snapshot. And to now, Iceman would like to break the rules a little bit. Here we've got a bed. You know how it goes. You should not jump on the bed. But if I wanted to jump on the bed and I started jumping on the bed, oh, whoa! This is crazy! The beds are a little bit bouncier now inside of the snapshot. It's a parody update with Minecraft, the Bedrock Edition. It's definitely a thing of all time. It's cool. While we're talking about parody updates with Bedrock Edition, I think it's time we hound the developers. We need to be able to bone meal small flowers. I want to make a beautiful flower farm all over my world. Just come on, Mojang. Let's go ahead and step this up a little bit here. All of the other newer plants are in parody. Come on, man. Come on. I'm not going to stop. Options, video settings. Inside of this snapshot, your graphics mode setting, it might have actually been changed automatically. Graphics API, by default, it has been set back to default, and the default is now, I believe, OpenGL. The game will now use OpenGL as the default, while Vulkan moves into the experimental territory. Maybe I'm, confused. I'm having a Mandela effect. I don't know. But I thought Vulkan was going to be the new one. Maybe this is a move to wrap up the production of this update. Maybe Iceman is definitely just mixing things up or whatever. Whatever it is, this is all definitely related to vibrant visuals and the winding down of this update. The developers are now making it a little bit more clear that Vulkan is experimental right now. And you can use it, but it might be a little bit more unstable. The default option is OpenGL, and it's set to default for all players. The friend system, the big banger from last week's snapshot. So I completely missed it, but if you didn't know, you haven't found out, you press the O key to open up your friends list on Minecraft. Now this week, the friends list, it has a little bit of updates here. The biggest one here being the additional boxes that will pop up inside of your world. If I flip my world to online, then open up this thing, and then tap on somebody. Oh, I didn't mean to send that. Sorry, Harry, if you're watching. That is totally embarrassing. I did not mean to do that. There's a brand new UI. It's going to be a little bit darker. The confirmation dialogues in the Friends UI. I'm going to move on now. That's awkward. And one more thing with the Friends menu before we move on here. It looks like requests are actually routinely cleared out. It seems that every time I restart my game, I lose all of the requests. So if you sent me one, I meant to accept it and look through them at least, but I didn't even get the chance, man. Sulfur cubes inside of this week's snapshot. First up, let's go ahead and take a look at the tiny baby one because, oh no, Mojang, you're still breaking the rules. This is a scaled down version of the big sulfur cube. The tiny takeover. The tiny takeover was about making sure our big mobs are not just scaled down versions. Uh-oh. Mojang spent a whole update on it last time around and they kind of forgot about the new rule. But anyway here, this Sulfur Magma Cube version of this mob right here has some new properties. This Sulfur Magma Cube will no longer will the Sulfur Magma Cube be able to damage other Sulfur Cubes with blocks inside of it. Blocks inside of it being the keyword here, because if I have a Sulfur Cube with nothing inside of it, this little boy, and I push him into the Magma Cube one, yup, it'll definitely take damage. And same exact thing is going to happen for the, for the other mobs in the game too. Now, this brings up a couple of curious questions. So, first up, obviously here, we have Sulfur Magma Cube and other Sulfur Cubes. This is not dealing any damage, which means you can bounce them around all together. That's pretty fun. But how about a Sulfur Magma Cube versus another Magma Cube? I'm sure both of these things don't deal damage, which makes me think about farms. Now here, it's time for a little bit of snapshot experimentating. Let's say we had ourselves a single block funnel. Maybe this is the bottom of my mob farm or something like that. Could I theoretically pile up a bunch of sulfur cubes with the magma blocks inside of them? And for this test, right next door, we will have one single sulfur magma cube. Can I increase the amount of damage I am dealing to mobs at any given time by increasing the amount of sulfur cubes? Unfortunately, no. Now, in previous snapshots, this sulfur magma cube was being used to ignite the TNT cube, and unfortunately... Oh, no! It works still! Oh my god! Mojang! Dude, you're so peak! Alright, that's a little surprise feature. It wasn't really documented on the changelog right here. They just said sulfur cubes with other blocks inside of them are immune to magma block damage, but the TNT one works. The reason this one is such a big deal is think of happy gas bombers. You could have a bunch of a sulfur cube TNT lead to a magma block, led to a happy gas. Use a shear on the happy gas, dropping the magma cube down to the ground. It'll touch a TNT, and then kaboom. So payloads with the magma cube sulfur block combination, they definitely still work. But our biggest feature by far in this week's snapshot has to do with this biome generation right here. So take a look at my world. The seed is this seed on screen. The location is approximately 0, 85, 0. Inside of this world right here, if I check my biome, then I will find that I am inside of the sulfur cave biome. That's what's up with this weird grass and all of the sulfur cubes spawning all over the place. The only catch here is that this sulfur cave, well, it was generated before this week's snapshot. This week, Mojang has done one of the coolest changes ever to the Sulfur Cave biome that will lead to Sulfur Cave biomes being able to generate on the surface, albeit a little bit rarely. But oh my god, the Sulfur Caves, it's a cave biome, but it's also a surface biome now too, if the generation lands just right. Dude, look at this thing. Alright, so the beautiful generation that has been changed here. The sulfur caves, when they generated previously, if they were up on the surface, well, Minecraft basically had some code in here to basically overlay the surface with a standard dirt and grass generation. You'd have to dig down a couple of blocks, and then you'd make it into the sulfur cave biome if there were caves to biome. Oh, a mine shaft. But now that stinky grass generation has been removed and the cool sulfur and cinnabar generation can happen on the surface, and on top of that, we could see all over this surface version of the biome, the geysers are actually generating as well. We have the sulfur spike with the magma, whoa, combination right there, and all over the place. There's a couple of more. Dude, this is gonna be pretty rare because the sulfur cave is going to need to try and generate near the surface and not get overridden by anything else. But if it does happen, you are going to have one of the coolest areas that you could possibly find inside of your Minecraft world. Like stinky sulfur pools up on the surface, the stone with the cinnabar, with the sulfur. I think it all mixes in pretty nicely here, and it's really, really cool. So the seed, you saw it earlier. I'll try and remember to leave it in the description, but you could see right down below that surface sulfur cave biome, a sulfur shaft. And as we learned last week in the snapshot, there's a brand new music disc inside of the minecarts too. Now, wow, moving around inside of these sulfur mine shafts, anytime I'm actually able to find a minecart inside of one of these things, I seem to be having pretty good music disc luck. Now, I know it's pretty dim down here, but another thing that I like to take a look at here is glow lichen generation. Glow lichen generation is still not really happening inside of the sulfur cave biome, or at least not happening in any kind of unique new fashion inside of this biome. We've got our standard glow lichen generating from time to time, but it's not littered all over the place like it is still to this day on Bedrock Edition, including the Bedrock Edition panorama. Meanwhile, on Minecraft to Java Edition, this panorama, the brand new one, no glow lichen or minimal in sight, and it's one of the darkest panoramas that I have ever seen. So when it comes to glow lichen, it's intriguing that we still have such a large lapse of parity so late in the update cycle. Personally, I do think that a little bit more glow lichen inside of this biome would look quite nice because it looks good on Bedrock. Also, on Java, we are completely missing the cool lime green fog that was added to the biome on Bedrock Edition as well, so that's kind of a problem too. Now that the sulfur cave biome can generate up on the surface, imagine moving into this biome or even just building up here on the surface and having lime green fog all around you, like off in the distance, dude. That would be so cool. I really hope that the Java devs remember that one and get that parity in check. Forget about the beds, man. Another one that we've got going down inside of this snapshot is a brand new command, the publish command. This command will now take an additional boolean as its first argument to specify if the server should be open to online multiplayer or just local. /publish true or false. If I go ahead and set this thing to true, that means that it will be online. Then, if I go ahead and say true or false, that'll decide if I will allow commands inside of my world or not. After that, I want to input a game mode, so I could say maybe, I don't know, creative, and that will mean that my server, how I'm setting it up right now, is online. Commands are enabled, and anybody who joins will be in creative mode. If you have your world set to online and you want it to not be online any longer, well then you could simply run unpublished and the server will not be public any longer. I mean, look, I know that it's all behind a simple button in game, but I do love that you could run a command to publish and unpublish a server. And finally today, baby mobs. The Sulfur Cube might not have a baby variant inside of the game, but the baby sniffer, the snifflet, the texture has been modified inside of this week's snapshot, mainly to remove unused parts of it that were never actually seen in-game, so it should look pretty similar. And meanwhile, the Hoglin, the baby one, it might actually look a little bit different because of the main texture. It was only showing up on one side of the top of this thing's back. It will now show up on both sides, that little dark area. That's kind of cool. And then the Snowy Fox. The Snowy Fox, when this little guy sleeps, the eyes, the coloration have been adjusted to better match the grown-up one. So there we go. We've got a sleeping grown-up one, a little blue eye, and a sleeping baby, a little blue eye as well. It's quite adorable. Anyway, the Sulfur Cave biome on the surface. Everything else, what do you think? Smash the like, subscribe for more, and check out my other channel next up. I'll have a short out soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.